investigating these abortion clinics run by Planned Parenthood and others. Let me also add, last year, pursuant to legislation I wrote in 2005, a comprehensive study about sex trafficking in the United States, not just with women and young girls brought across our lines from Central and South America and elsewhere. Pardon me, Shared Hope International found that there are at least 100,000 of our own American girls on the streets every year. Average age of sex trafficking is 13. The very age group that Lila and her team asked about, 13, 14-year-olds, and so Planned Parenthood becomes part of the sex trafficking ring. There should have been a call immediately to the prosecutor by each and every one of these Planned Parenthood personnel to say, we have a sex trafficker in our office, arrest them. Right. Instead they said, we can make arrangements to get an abortion. That is illegal. I wrote the law. And so I can't stress it enough. The media, please, do your own investigations, but the law enforcement, the time is long past due for them to be doing their own sting operations the way Lila Rosen and Live Action has done so bravely.
How many clinics you went into with this thing, and how many reported under their application under the law?
Of course. Over the past 3.5 years, before this investigation released in a week and a half, we have released 10 different clinics in 6 different states, and that footage is on our website. Some of that footage is listed probations of clinics, defunding of clinics on the state level, but all of that footage reveals the cover-up of the abuse of girls as young as 13 by Planned Parenthood staff. Just in the last week and a half, we've released 7 more videos, 7 more clinics, and 4 more areas in 4 more states, including Washington, D.C., that reveal the willingness to aid and abet the human trafficking of underage girls. So there are 17 videos in total right now in many different states across our country.
No, my question was, how many did you go into, and how many did you find not apply?
How many
percentage of clinics?
The vast majority. The vast majority of
Tell me
clinics.
a number of how many?
We haven't released that number about how many we've been into, but the statistic is similar to the 91% that Life Dynamics found in 2002, willing to cover up on the phone with a 13-year-old girl, an actor posing as a 13-year-old girl, of over 800 clinics. So consider that statistic, and our statistic is very similar. For this project, for the Human Trafficking Project, we are releasing the full footage from the investigation in its entirety, and you'll find that in every single situation, you'll see a willingness to aid and abet the cover-up and the abuse of young girls.
And in those, the ones you've shown so far, in none of those, no one made any reporting as under their obligation under the law?
In all of the situations that we've released, you'll see on tape, on the footage, the willingness to aid and abet the human trafficking of underage girls, and in no situation was the police immediately called to arrest the trafficker, as should have happened.
Do you know that anyone reported and followed the law in these instances?
As I said, no call was immediately made to police, and in many states, and most states, and Chris can speak to this too, for mandated reporters, they have to immediately report to the police in order to ensure that that abuser is put behind bars instead of getting away.
Can I ask how you know that exactly? How do you know that no one was called?
Because you can look at Planned Parenthood's own public statements about it. Even Planned Parenthood is claiming that they made a report, but at the end of the day, that report was made to the FBI a week after our investigation. In their own letter, it's dated a week afterwards. That just goes to show that they're trying to cover up their cover-up. And that information in detail is detailed and chronicled on our website that you can review.
Well, if I might. In the state of Kansas, as they indicated, there are 107 outstanding criminal charges against Planned Parenthood. 23 of those were felonies, and there are other charges as well that included falsification of reports, failure to report. Indeed, we had aggregate information. We have to collect those and provide those to you later. I believe it was over 1,000 clients of Title X clinics that were under the statutory age, and there were less than, I believe, a dozen reports. So actually, it should be the same number of reports as those that are underage and receiving those services. It's a mandatory reporting state. So that's the aggregate data that we do not have at the individual level. But certainly, there's a clear pattern of Planned Parenthood in the state of Kansas and elsewhere for failure to follow the law and participating in the cover-up of sexual abuse and incest.
And I'd like to add one thing. If you look at the 2 Cincinnati cases, in both cases, when those young girls went into that abortion clinic, Planned Parenthood, neither time did they go to the law enforcement. They were silent on it. It was only after the fact, when the girl revealed in a different way that she had had an abortion, that the parent or parents found out and action was taken. But Planned Parenthood was silent from the beginning when this action occurred.
Just one thing, in 2008, at the same time while I was running Covered Action, we had staff in North Carolina going to cover proving that Planned Parenthood covers their statutory rate. We waited months to get FOIA requests back. In both cases, 0 reports were made because in North Carolina, very strict reporting requirements for statutory rate, which you'd be surprised to find out most states they're not very strict. But North Carolina is very strict about how you have to report. And we did FOIA requests. We waited months to get the FOIA requests back. And in neither case were any crimes ever reported.
We'll wrap it up here. Anybody who would like to linger and ask questions, you're welcome to. Thank you all for coming. ExposePlannedParenthood.com is where all the videos, all the statements from the day, and a lot of other information on Planned Parenthood can be found. Thank you.
Margie, I might just,
Yes.
sometimes I hear all of the things that you're hearing related to the additional crimes that Planned Parenthood has committed, and it's incredibly enlightening. But the bottom line here is this is an organization that's been the principal force behind the killing of nearly 50 million little Americans. These things shouldn't surprise us that we're hearing today, but it is incumbent upon all of you to investigate them and to tell the truth, because somehow there's this collective blindness. We don't want to face this. I understand, nobody does. This administration has become, without a doubt, the greatest impediment that we have in the country today to dealing with this issue. The very first act of this administration of consequence was to send money overseas to pay for the killing of children in this environment. And I just have to say to you, if the media doesn't see this, someday this is going to change. And your grandchildren may come up to you and say, Grandpa or Grandma, where were you when America was awash in the blood of its own children? Where were you when they were killing little babies? And if you'll tell the truth, you'll have an answer for it.
Let me ask you this, how can you defund Planned Parenthood with Obama in the White House?
Well, there is this little constitutional provision that we have in the House of Representatives, in the Constitution about the House of Representatives, where all funding bills have to start there. And I hope that people on the relevant committees, appropriations committees, have the courage to do what's right in that regard, because a government is what it spends, and we are spending money killing our own children, and a country that is awash in the blood of its own children can't survive in the kind of republic that we have.
We had a meeting with leadership just a couple of days ago, and there was a stated commitment on the part of the appropriations chairman to exercise his oversight power and looking exactly at this, and so that's why this freeze of the funding is taking a deep breath and looking a lot closer. Thank you.